Hello, and welcome to another episode of Telling Everybody Everything. It is Friday, August 22nd, and I just sat in this podcast studio for about 30 minutes doing different recordings and jobs and admin, feeling so sorry for myself. I thought, Katherine, in this pregnancy, your sense of smell is so heightened that you're just going to be able to smell this stink for the rest of your life. I could smell something in the podcast studio, which I know I recently cleaned. There shouldn't be anything untoward. Yes, Bobby has been known when he's working out to piss in bottles. Nobody's happy about that. But there was an awful kind of shit smell, and I'm wearing a blanket because I try to keep the audio professional and I won't turn on the heat. And yes, it's August, but we live in the UK, so it's fucking cold. And I thought I could just smell some horrid stink, and like it can't be identified, and this smell is coming from my nose. I smelled the blanket, I smelled my clothes. I couldn't believe it. I thought, this is it, this is your life now. And then I realized that on the way out here, my slipper had stepped in fox shit, and I'm just so happy now to have taken that slipper off. And it smells beautiful in here. Actually, where is that? I got Bobby a Tom Ford vanilla tobacco candle, which why would you want anything to smell like tobacco? But it's like a real man smell. And it just smells great in here now. So God bless us all that I found the fox shit. And I should have known. It was foreshadowed when I saw an adult fox in the garden today. Very skinny, tall fox. Like I do see babies kind of roaming about. Not newborn babies, not that adorable, but like tiny foxes. You see them in London, but it was like a very cartoonish, tall Mr. Fox, like from the Peter Rabbit stories. He was looking to eat someone, but no dice. Manny's not well, if you want to talk about animals for a minute. Well, no one's been well in the Ryan Kootster household. Those of you who listen to the podcast regularly will know that Meg Ryan passed away in June. You might also know that Dolly passed away 5 days later, allegedly. I mean, she lives in a different country now, or is dead in a different country now. And that's a shame, but we knew that these dogs were quite medically fragile, quite elderly, and Manny is even older than Megan. And I like his vet. I would never, ever suggest that any medical professional has nefarious intentions, but there have been trips to the vet where I think the vet is doing their best, but he does come out sicker. He had a stomach tube for a while, like a feeding tube, because Manny apparently has some gut leaking situation where he's not absorbing nutrients properly. That's obviously bad for anyone. He is such a small dog anyway. He was full of fluid one time, and now he's lost weight again, but they addressed this by putting a feeding tube for a while, which was horrible, which caused some type of like gut illness, and it fell out. It was like protruding through his esophagus or whatever. It was bad. And that was years ago, and now he's bounced back, but I took him again, and he had so many teeth removed. He's got only 4 teeth left, so his little tongue hangs out, and he's just changed since we lost Megan. He's just not the same guy. Forgive me for being out of breath and coughing. Everyone in the Ryan Kootster household has been sick for exactly 1 week today. So the children, we are very fancy. They were meant to have an MMR top up at the house, a vaccination at the house last Saturday. We're very lucky we have a private doctor. When you have a private doctor, they can come to the house. Okay? Not bragging. Just telling you how it is. And the wonderful doctor messaged me on last Friday, and she said, "How is everyone? Any signs of fever?" I said, "Nope, these children are fit, well, and happy, waiting for you to come round and make them unfit, unwell, and unhappy. LOL. That's the relationship that we have." And she said, "Great, see you tomorrow." And in the middle of the night, that Friday, 1 week ago today, I sleep with the children. Obviously, so does Bobby. We're all in the nursery. I felt Fenna's head, because we wake up several times a night. I haven't slept in 4 years. And she was warm. And I thought, Fenna? Like, Fenna's the Bruce Willis of babies. She is never sick. Touch wood. Obviously, we haven't had an illness in the house for a really long time. Fenna had a fever. It wasn't quite hot enough for me to want to control it. And this is where I think wisdom about fevers is like mixed. Bobby and I have some different views on some things. I am very excited to announce him as a guest on What's My Age Again, my biological age hacking podcast that I do with Bauer Media. I don't know if I'm officially allowed to announce that, but we are having Bobby on in season 2 just to test his biological age compared to mine and talk to him about some of his views on health. So like one of the areas where Bobby and I are different is if the children have a fever, I think he likes to get it down. Fair enough. If a child, especially under a certain age, has a fever over a certain number, you have to get it down. It can be very dangerous, especially for small children. But the reason that I believe, and I could be wrong, I believe that if fever exists in your system because it's your body trying to raise your temperature to a level that makes it unhospitable for virus and bacteria. So if your small child, not your baby, I'm not talking about your baby. Let's keep it safe and talk over 5s. If your over 5-year-old is kind of happy and playing and they're not in too much discomfort and their fever is just above, a resting temperature, like let's say 38, around that area, I personally think if they're not uncomfortable, you should let them have a low-grade fever for a little while because that is their body doing different things to fight whatever virus they have. And they usually do have a virus. They don't usually have an infection that requires a doctor's visit, that requires antibiotics, unless their fever is not accompanied by any other symptoms. If you have a really small child who has like no runny nose, no cough, no malaise, like nothing wrong with them, and they have a high fever, then they might have a UTI or they might have an actual infection that requires antibiotics. I'm not a medical professional, but this is my understanding. So anyway, I didn't give her Calpol straight away. And then the next day, her fever grew to 39 and I went, whoa. And we gave her Calpol straight away. And we kept her on kind of a mixture of Nurofen and Calpol. Again, it's kind of controversial to give a 2.5-year-old Nurofen. I think you can start giving it to them. The preference is Calpol. My children do better on ibuprofen, so whatever. And she had a bit of a runny nose, but it wasn't too bad. Cut to misery, full-blown like sore throat, coughing, that real croupy sounding like seal barking cough. But Fred was still fine. And so we slept in the tent Saturday. Fenna was happy to sleep. Bobby had erected this tent in the garden. And I know everybody's thinking, what about his grass? But this was a dream of Bobby and Fred's to go camping in the garden. And you know what British people are like. In Canada, if you're camping, you have traveled up the mountains to a creek. You have to tie your snacks in a tree so that you're not tempting bears to come and eat you in the night. Like we do proper wilderness camping. And when I say we, I mean not I. I am not interested in such pursuits, but a lot of Canadians are. In the UK, you guys will put a tent in the garden or you will go to a festival and line yourself up door to door with someone's piss-filled Wellington boot, and you will call that a camping trip. And good for you. God bless us all for our differences. But Fred and Bobby wanted to do this camping thing, and I thought it was a lovely, cool evening, not too hot. We're right by the house anyway. Fenna could probably benefit from sleeping outside. And I think she did. I think fresh air is always good. But she remained sick, and the fever came and went. I wouldn't normally leave a child's fever past 3 days with treatment, by the way. We're giving her Calpol regularly, fine. But it kept coming back, and I thought, after 3 days, you have to see a doctor, don't you? But I watched it. I'm sure it was a virus. And then on day 5, and viruses can last like a while, up to 2 weeks. On day 5, it broke, and she was better. And now Fenna is absolutely fine. She missed a few days of nursery. She's bounced back. She's just a strong individual. And now Fred is sick. And we just thought, oh my God. We, of course, had to cancel the vaccinations. You cannot vaccinate a sick child. They're starting school. I mean, Fred is starting a new school in September. We really would have liked to get that topped up, but now we do have to wait until he is fully better. And it has been a misery. Fred does not handle illness very well. He's been better since we got his tonsils out, but we're just like back to back sick kids, fevers in this house, this croupy seal cough again on Fred, fevers that come and go. And my worry is now 1 week on from the onset of Fenna's fever. I had a sore throat last night and I do have a tickly cough, and I'm shooting my special in 7 days. It's next Friday. Oh God. So if you would like tickets to see my special record, you cannot get them. Possibly you could get them at the door, but it's been sold out for a long time. It's in East London. I'm really grateful to those of you who've purchased tickets. If you have purchased tickets to my special record on the 29th and you haven't received the email about dilemmas, then please check your inbox and your junk and email back to the address that they give you, or you can even message me on socials. We will need you to sign a waiver if you submit a dilemma and we use it in the special, because obviously that'll be streaming. It's not as private as it might be just in the theater, but just like I did on tour, I'll be doing my show, but then I'll also be taking some audience dilemmas, and it's a really fun way if you are someone who has a conundrum or a problem that you want to solve or something funny to say. If you want to be involved in my special, then you can do that. You'll have to sign a waiver, but you can do that. Please don't say anything that you regret, but you can do that. I don't know if people say things they regret anymore. We live in this world of social media where people are on there like, hi, I had diarrhea today and here's how that went. So, I mean, perfect. I just hope my voice isn't gone, because if I go the way of the children, I got a rough few days coming up, and because you're pregnant, you're not allowed to take medicine, I'll be absolutely fucked. Hopefully not. And it's also Joanne's wedding, sort of. All my family are in town. That makes me feel, I have mixed emotions about that. Joanne she could not live further from London, but she's having a wedding in London. And my other sister Carrie's coming, and my mom and my dad, who do not get along and are not staying in the same hotel. It's going to be fine. I'm not a wedding person, but I do want to honor the choice that someone else makes. I have never met Joanne's soon-to-be husband. Good luck to them. It's going to be a beautiful day. And then my mother, I think, is staying nearby for a month, which is cool. She's like, I'm staying in London for a month and I can pop in and I can travel and I can do this and that. I just feel, I think, quite anxious in the late stages of a pregnancy to have any family nearby, because I've made it clear to everyone that I do not want any family nearby when I have a new baby. And I think that makes them feel rejected or disrespected. You know, they're like, why wouldn't you? Because normal people want their parents around when they have kids. They want help. You just have to accept people for who they are. Fred, for example, loves help. He would love for me to chew up his food and spit it into his mouth like a baby bird. Fred would love to be carried in a papoose everywhere. Fred's awesome now, by the way. He's really come a long way, but he still is a young man who's very handsome, and he knows it. And he's like, you can do everything for me, Dad. Luckily, a lot of that does fall on Bobby. Fenna will lose her mind if you help her to do anything. So I have very good intentions with my daughter Fenna. I will see her picking up something heavy. I'll race over so that it doesn't spill, and she will have a meltdown. She'll be like, do not help me. She likes to dress and undress herself. She's only 2 years old. She's always been doing that. If you try to help her with a button, she will fucking lose it on you. That's Fenna, and that's me. I just don't require assistance. And I know that the dates kind of just happened this way, but I just hope that no one's secretly trying to give me any assistance, because I don't want it. I suffer from hyperindependence as a trauma response. What trauma? We don't know. We don't know. Speaking of trauma, this is tricky to weigh in on, because when you speak about celebrities by name, often that gets picked up in the tabloids. Your words are twisted, or they will choose just certain words without the nuance of the full conversation. They will put that in a headline. They will make it clickbait. But many of you will know that I'm a longtime fan of Katie Price and Peter Andre, by the way, and Princess Andre and Junior and Harvey and Jet and Bunny. I've seen very little of, but I'm a fan of everyone in the family. great for them. I love people who are candid and transparent, and I love reality TV. I love people who share their lives with me. And from the day I arrived in this country, I was able to watch Katie and Peter in their romantic series that they had back then. Times have changed. You might not produce a reality series today with the same views or tone that you produced a reality series back then, but here we are. You create something and it lives forever in a time capsule. I had Katie Price as a guest on What's My Age Again, my other podcast, the aforementioned Biological Age podcast. And she was great. And there were some people who said that I minimized her trauma on that episode. There were some criticisms of how I kind of glazed over some of the more traumatic events in her life. But I feel like I was mirroring Katie. I was letting her speak her truth, giving her space. If she didn't want to go into like a really deep crying segment, which I don't think she's that kind of woman, then I wasn't going to try to dig for that. I just went, all right, so you've minimized that horrible trauma. Okay, let's move on and find out what your biological age is. I think I just gave her space to be herself and tell her truth. And I asked questions that I thought were appropriate as a Katie Price fan. Above everything else, she is not a perfect person. I am not a perfect person. I appreciate that Katie Price is very candid. I appreciate that Katie Price has trauma and she's very honest about her flaws. I like that about her. I think she's a resilient person. And then whatever else you want to say about her, you can nitpick. Like, how do you think that you would behave if you had the level of trauma that Katie Price had? You don't know. We don't know. So I was very nice to her. There were some people on the other side who say, oh, she's been dishonest about her relationship. She says this and that, and I'm on the team of one or some of her exes. You're allowed to be on that team. I'm not anti Katie Price's exes in any way. They have always been kind to me if I've had any interactions with them, which have been small. I like Peter Andre. He's always just been a gentleman to me. He seems like a great person and a great father. But I will say on the podcast, I questioned, there are clips of the reality show, and maybe these have been manipulated for social media. I don't know. But that it does look like there's some, toxic back and forth in that relationship, some passive aggression in the way that you're spoken to, some gaslighting in the way that you're spoken to. Like, it's not always, nothing is one-sided. The only person who knows what goes on in a relationship is the person in the relationship. And people, this is what you have to accept as an adult. People have different truths. I am positive that I'm the villain in someone's story, 2 exes in particular, and I don't care. I will allow myself to be the villain. And Katie Price is obviously the villain in some of her exes' experience. And what I don't like that's happened now is the whole family's in the news again and in the press because lovely young Princess has a new reality show that I feel very motivated to watch. I see Junior and Princess promoting the show and they seem like really articulate, wonderfully brought up, poised kids. Love that. It looks like a great show. But of course, the gauntlet of press comes about and then people are commenting on like, why is Katie not in the show and how is the dynamic of that? I've been asked about that even in interviews about like Gusto. They're like, what do you think of Katie Price not being in the Princess Diaries? I'm like, this is not related to dinner time piece and mealtime hacks, but let's go for it. What I don't like is with all this extra press, now there are exes, and I'm not talking about Peter, other exes who have somehow like united against this woman, who've said, we are ready to tell our truth. Like, what? Where did you come from? I thought you were dead. And they're like, well, now the truth will be spoken about my time with this woman. Like, hasn't she been through enough? Dating you, marrying you, making you relevant temporarily. Like, I just feel that people need to let sleeping dogs lie. There's no worse look than like 2 scorned exes coming together to take down a woman who gave them a lot of herself. It wouldn't have been a perfect relationship. No relationship is. It failed for a reason, I'm sure. This woman has trauma. I think anyone with empathy can see that the elements of Katie Price's character that you don't like seem to be born from trauma. Do you really need to continue to discuss this woman? And then what's really great is that TikTok, see, I get all my information from social media. TikTok is a place where like women are very loyal to Katie Price, for better or worse. And one of her exes released a video where she had allegedly filed for bankruptcy but was counting cash. And there are so many women who are coming out being like, those are my stacks. Katie was looking after my cash for me. That's mine, actually. Just sticking up for her. Sticking up for a mother of 5 who has been through a lot. Whoa, what's this? A crash-in guest, Bobby Kutstra.
Oh, hello. Thank you for having me again.
It's always a pleasure to have you on the podcast. Katie Price, objectified her entire life, traumatized by misogyny in culture. What are your thoughts?
On Katie Price, or what has happened to Katie Price? Or
I don't imagine that you know exactly what's happening.
I'm not quite up on the uptake, but I do know little bits. And I know that she's gone through a lot.
Yeah.
And so I feel for her. And I'm sure she's like very strong. So what's going on?
She's like this country's punching bag, and I don't see why.
Doesn't seem fair. I have always felt she's been done a little bit unfairly. In the little that I know.
I think one of her exes was awarded damages because she had intimate photos and videos of him that allegedly, because a lot of this stuff is sealed, but I think I read she showed it to people and he didn't like that. And she certainly went on Celebrity Big Brother and spoke about him dressing as a woman, and also I believe allegedly, and I'm paraphrasing, like suctioning a dildo onto a wardrobe and backing into it, which is fine. Like
logistically, I don't know. Yeah, that's fine, I guess. Like
he was a trailblazer.
All right. Okay.
Because he was dressing, he is a man, he identifies as a man, but I think he admitted to having an alter ego called Roxanne. He's a boxer.
Okay.
He had an alter ego called Roxanne. He would wear lingerie, and Katie was like not, in her words, like fully feeling that lifestyle. But she tried to make him happy. And now we talk a lot about like, you know, different shapes of romantic relationships, and a lot of men are being pegged now.
Yeah, well,
did you think this is what I was going to ask you when you came out to check on me?
Maybe I'm not quite ready for today's podcast.
Okay.
Well, maybe we can move it along and I'll see what's next. But I'm not really comfortable with where things are currently.
Okay. Thoughts on Peter Andre? I think you like him.
I met Peter Andre, I think at least once for sure.
He's
and
classy.
he seemed really nice.
Classy dude.
Yeah.
I think you and Peter Andre could be friends.
Cool. Does he golf?
I don't see that.
I'm basically looking for strictly golf friends only at the moment.
Okay.
That's all my lifestyle allows.
If anyone would like to be applying to become Bobby's golf friend, you can email tellingeverybodyeverything@gmail.com.
Yeah.
Shall we discuss the teens?
Which teens?
We have Bobby's nieces, Madison and Lily, staying with us this week.
Well, one's not even a teenager anymore.
Oh, yeah.
She's like 20, 21. Maybe.
21?
Yeah.
It was her birthday 3 days ago.
That's crazy.
Lovely girls. And Violet and the three of them are off to Reading Festival this evening.
Mm-hmm.
And I was against this at first when Violet and some of her girlfriends from school wanted to go and wanted to spend the night. And there were a lot of moms who were totally fine with that. And I just thought, ooh, too rich for my blood. Violet is not sleeping at Reading Festival, because I know my tour manager, Annie, works in events and has been on the ground at a lot of different festivals. Apparently, there's always a wonderful on-site hospital. It's a really safe place to have an accident if you're going to have an accident.
Funny enough, because there's always a lot of like girls on the ground at the end of Reading Festival, I think.
This is it. And I've done comedy there, and it's a great festival. It's fun to go to. I just think 18, fill your boots, specifically your Wellington boots with vomit. But 16, no. And then I thought to myself, hang on a minute. we know a professional security guard, don't we, Bobby?
Yes. Well, you do, kind of. And he did an absolute bang-up job protecting us from violence. One party where no security was actually provided, other than he did keep the teenagers safe, which is his number one job. And you can't really be too physical or rough or even say anything to teenagers because, of the laws.
You can't fight kids.
You can't fight kids anymore. So I had to fight the kids instead. So the security, what? He's just going to escort them around the premises? How much is he going to be involved? What's going on? Because I agree with a 16-year-old needing some support. Mm-hmm. Because if a bunch of 16-year-olds are left to their own devices, they're quite easily going to be taken advantage of, drugged, drink too much, try to be cool. I mean, the list goes on, and I'm quite certain people die every year at this thing, one way or another. So yeah, good for you.
Well, I'm working at Tunes in the Park Festival in Cornwall this Sunday, and Reading Festival are so nice to me. They did offer me a wristband to go along with Violet and be the chaperone. My plan at this late stage of pregnancy was to drive the girls, kind of hang back, sit in the car, make it a mobile office, bring some admin, but I couldn't do that both days. So luckily this security gentleman friend is available, and I spoke about it a few months ago on the podcast. But yeah, he's great. He's going to drive the girls all the way to the festival. He's going to park securely. I think he's going to, now especially that Madison and Lily are with Violet, so some older girls, though still young in my eyes, he's going to hang back but be available to them should anything go wrong, and then make sure they are swiftly collected at the end of the experience and drive them home. Because even from my personal history of going to festivals before, I would have a chauffeur-driven car and a manager. I would sometimes just go there on the train. It's a little bit dicey to get in and out. I wouldn't want to think about what that looks like if you're also drinking. So he's great. And then I started to think to myself, well, hang on. And I have to preface this. It's no reflection on the actual gentleman that we've hired, because we know him. But my mind just started spinning out. Did I tell you this already, what I was thinking?
Maybe. I don't know.
Were you listening?
Well, I don't know. Depending on what it's about. I may have been listening. I may not have been. I may have heard it before. I may not have. I don't know. What is it?
Okay, so then I started to think, what is the most apex predator on the planet to a teenage girl?
A great white shark.
No. Sharks kill...
Oh, or is this the bear thing? What is it? It's men, isn't it?
Yes, it's men, but also it's specifically a security man.
Oh yeah, well.
He's muscular. He is experienced in armed forces and police.
Oh, like a man in uniform.
Right. Mm. And so then I was thinking, wait a minute, what have I done? I've hired the most dangerous sort of person to be alone in the car and in charge of these 3 teenage girls.
Wow, what an airball.
What a twist. Did I not say this to you?
No, you didn't say that to me.
Do you see where I'm thinking with it? It's your fault, because you were talking to me the other night about, and I'm crazy, and I know that this man is actually trustworthy. He's licensed. He has a real company. He has a family. He's great. But
you're really spiraling.
But from just a logistical standpoint, you were talking to me the other night about that horrible case with Sarah Everard when she went with the policeman.
Yes.
And was murdered. And then I was like, wait a minute. Maybe security guys are not, you don't want to pay one to be alone with the children. Right?
I don't know. It's what's better than the other. I don't know. You've probably done the right thing. In this case. It could go horribly wrong. You'd feel absolutely horrible if something happened with these girls, or if you drugged them or
oh my God.
took advantage of them. You're going to really have egg on your face, but I think for right now you're doing the most responsible thing rather than being them alone, You know what I mean, though. So this guy, I love him. I know his wife. I know his family is fine. But why have I hired a man to be alone with these girls is what I'm thinking. So it's not personal about him. Yeah. So I feel so bad even saying it, but I just started to think about logistics. He's big. He's strong. He has weapons, probably. I don't think probably a pepper spray. But then who do you hire to who? You don't hire anyone. But it's the same with having a husband. Well, Violet wouldn't let me go.
No, but I'm saying like men have this weird like dichotomy where like there are men who will say like, you need us to protect you. We make up most of the emergency services. We are most ambulance drivers and we are most police officers and we are most whatever. And we protect you. And you go, yeah, but then you also kill us the most. And like, we wouldn't need you in all these positions if we didn't have you in the other positions.
I mean, welcome to the show. Like this is the kind of give and take, we protect you, but we also kill you.
Why? So who should you hire to keep a bunch of sexy little teens safe?
I don't know. Maybe we're not there yet, but like probably down the line, like an AI robot. But that could go wrong too, eventually. There's no right
or
thing
like
to do.
A dog?
A dog, no.
You can't really send them with a Rottweiler to the Reading Festival.
No, that would end poorly. Yeah, there's nothing you can do. Like
butch lesbians. We need to mobilize a very strong lesbian to look after the girls. That's the security department I think that we need to look for in the future. Why are you pausing on that?
I can't comment.
I have a huge lesbian following. They won't mind me saying that.
I know, but what if they get easily wrapped?
They don't have the same killer instinct.
No, they don't.
I just was thinking, am I the stupidest person in the world for doing this? No, I'm not, because I know this man, again, he's going to listen to the podcast and be like, what are you talking about, Katherine? But he will understand what I mean from like just a optics viewpoint.
Yeah, from stats.
Whew. Bobby, do you have time for some news?
Sure.
Quite a headline over the weekend in the Daily Mail. Pregnant Katherine Ryan shows off her growing baby bump as she heads out with daughter after hitting back at her critics over past sexual arrangement. It read, alongside a radiant photo of yours truly carrying fun and grace, looking blissfully unaware of the headline hijinks that the Daily Mail had in store. Have you seen that this Louis Theroux clip about Hooters from 2022 has gone sort of viral again?
Yeah, you told me about it.
It's got like 2 or 3 million views now.
Oh, cool.
I spoke about it actually because I think people are confused when you speak about, your youth without pride or shame. I'm not proud of some of the things I did, but equally, like, why would I be shameful of them? And they used that as like a new headline to like roll out the story again where I was sleeping with a manager. And it's interesting. It doesn't bother me because I think there are discussions to be had about power dynamics. Like, ultimately, should my boss have allowed sexual relationships with the Hooters girls? No, but on the other hand, he's dead.
Well, he is dead. But it was a different era. Like,
this is it.
And like, can you imagine being this guy and this girl's asking you, like, you're coming up to him. He's like, oh, all right. Like, should he? No, but it's like, I don't know. It's just stuff like that was happening, at the time. So, I don't hold it against you, but some of your critics will definitely take the ball and run with it. And that's where we're at.
I think
so the headline, like, agitates the people that it would agitate.
Well, they're also under the impression, I think, that I'm advocating that kind of behavior. I'm like, that's right. Well, I sucked him off and I'll do it again. It's
the news has a way of like twisting it to that direction.
I was probably 20 years old. Also, he was in his 20s. He was not. I think when people imagine this manager, they think of some 50-year-old CEO in a like corner office. It's not like that. Like, he was very young. We were young.
He was like a Ryan Reynolds in the movie Waiting.
Exactly like that. What a reference. Yes.
Except for like, obviously way less hot, probably.
Way less hot. But also, but I did like him. This is the thing. It's not, I have never, ever had an intimate relationship with someone that I didn't at least think I liked at the time.
Yeah.
And like wait staff, I'm sorry, has anyone waitressed before? Has anyone worked in a restaurant? Everyone's sleeping with each other.
Yeah.
Everyone.
The only time I worked in a restaurant was with my sister, so I didn't really go that way, but...
Where they kiss you on the lips?
Yeah, they kiss me on the lips, but not anything more.
You would have loved it. You would have been a fox in the hen house.
What, at your Hooters restaurant?
No, I don't think
I would have never worked there, I don't think.
No, but if you had the fun, like even when I worked at Stokes in Sarnia, whose proprietor has also sadly passed, that was boys and girls, usually university age.
Did you suck him off as well?
I had no romantic relationships at Stokes, But loads of people were seeing each other. And sometimes there were power things. Like people were dating managers.
Yeah.
People were dating line chefs. And it would switch. And people would date new people. Like it's just...
I know somewhat about it, but I'd rather be a patron to these establishments.
All right.
Yeah.
Well.
Anyways, great headline. And, good luck.
Thank you. Have you seen this huge podcast clip or clips where Taylor Swift appeared on the Kelsey Brothers podcast?
Yes. And what, did an album drop or something?
Oh, yes. I could hear Violet squeal with delight several time zones away. This past Wednesday, when Taylor Swift made her first ever podcast appearance on boyfriend Travis and boyfriend brother Jason Kelsey's New Heights pod, sitting for a sprawling 2+ hours and offering listeners an unguarded version of the superstar rarely, if ever, offered up. T-Swizz underlined that it wasn't at Travis's urging, but rather her idea to go on the podcast after Brad Pitt went on, and she was, quote, jealous. She might have been joking, but whatever her reasoning was, fans, dads, Brads, and Chads alike were taken with her relaxed demeanor, clearly in a safe space along her GQ coverboy boyfriend, and spilled the tea accordingly, most notably dropping the name of her next album, Life of a Showgirl.
Life of a Showgirl.
You know what? She looks sexy in these photos. It is giving
Like
Sabrina Carpenter.
Is it giving Jessie Spano, Elizabeth Berkley? Isn't that
Another incredible reference.
She was in Showgirls. It was just called
Showgirls.
Just Showgirls. And I think that movie was one of the worst. Was said to be one of the worst movies ever. But I think now it's turned into a cult classic. Anyways, that is the last Showgirl I remember. So that's a weird title for me.
Did you watch Showgirls when it came out?
No, I don't think I was allowed.
She had sex on her period, I remember. And
like in real life.
No, just there was a scene
where she.
How old were we?
I don't know. I would have been too young. I think I saw it in university. It was brutal. It was really bad.
It
was bad acting. I just remember.
What was her name? Elizabeth Berkley.
Elizabeth Berkley.
Okay, it was released in 1995.
Yeah, so I would have been 12.
Oh my God. Why was I watching this? Yeah, it's amazing what we were allowed to access.
I wasn't allowed.
No wonder I grow up to suck off Hooters managers. I'm 12 watching Showgirls.
I don't think maybe that's your parents' fault.
Yeah, I know.
Because you couldn't just download it online. You'd have to someone would have it at home that you'd have to borrow. I don't know what your mom or dad was watching it for.
I thought it was great. I think we should watch it again.
We probably should watch it again because, like I said, it has become a kind of a cult classic.
Yeah.
Anyways.
It was very interesting.
Showgirls.
Well, Taylor and Travis met when the American footballer talked to someone who operated the elevator at the stadium where he first saw Eras Tour, rather than going through VIP reps. Insert Travis asking Taylor if she was going down. Elevator joke here. That's how they revealed they met.
It's not bad.
Yeah, he went through the elevator operator. But I suppose that's what famous people do. Like famous, that echelon of famous, they don't have to talk to reps. They could just... Like the elevator guy knows everyone.
Yeah.
Okay. Another little nugget that she dropped on the podcast. Her current hobby obsession is sourdough. She said, right now, we're very deep in a sourdough obsession that's taken over my life in a huge way. I'm talking about bread for 60% of my life now. Currently, Taylor Swift says she's working out the kinks of a funfetti sourdough for her circle of girlfriends and going crazy with bread puns related to her songs. Example, it's a loaf story, baby. Just say yeast.
Ugh.
It's too domestic for you?
I don't get the sourdough thing. Like, you went through a phase, and there's it's tough to do, and there's a lot of mess, and you can just buy sourdough. It's like one of the cheapest things to buy.
Yeah.
But I'm happy she's trying to be relatable.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Brace yourself for this.
Okay.
Kevin Federline has a new memoir.
Awesome.
Did you see that on my Instagram?
I saw something, maybe on your Instagram. I saw something where Britney's ex, don't know his name.
Kevin Federline.
No, most recent ex.
Oh, no, don't know his name either.
What's his name?
No.
He's like a big, anyways, where he was videoed getting asked about this memoir and made a slam to Kevin.
Oh, made a slam to Kevin.
Yeah.
Oh, nice. What was the slam?
It was like, he said, well, he is a professional father, so he would have a great like a joke, because maybe Kevin Federline used that before, that he's a professional dad. I don't know.
Well, how do you take that as a professional dad? Like, what? See, that bothers me, actually, as a slam. I thought he was going to slam Kevin Federline, maybe for the reasons that I'm annoyed with some of Katie Price's exes at the minute because they gained a lot.
I'm a fan of Kevin Federline. That's the difference.
Why?
I just kind of was at the time. Like, it was a funny time, that era.
Yeah.
And he was such a douchebag. And I was like, this guy's, I don't know, was he a dancer? And then, like,
yeah,
had kids with her. Like, it was just a really funny, like, scene.
But do you think he was a hapless, lovable douchebag who was kind of white trash? He and Britney organically got together on tour.
Yes.
Loved each other. Then they had kids. Then she turned out to be mentally unwell. And
Yes.
Okay.
I think, like, he was obviously a bit trash. She was. They got on. And then she, continued further her descent into whatever problems are up there or whatever happened to her. I don't really know. And so he was kind of the lead father.
Yeah.
She was, like, incapable of looking after children, I think. And so, I don't know. He's a douchebag, yes, but he was the more responsible person at the time, somehow.
But you don't think it was ever Kevin Federline's plan to manipulate the situation, to entrap Britney, to extort Britney, to have children with this woman that he could see?
I think her next ex, or not her next one, the most recent one, seems more likely to be that type of guy. I think Kevin is kind of trash, and, like, maybe they were in love, and then he had to kind of take over. Who knows? But I don't know. I'm sure there's maybe a bit of that.
Well, he definitely received a lot of spousal support always, but seems to have done a good job raising those kids.
Yeah.
I think he got into a relationship and then married a professional volleyball player. I don't know that. Just from memory, I think her name was Victoria. Why do I know these things?
Yeah, volleyball players is a good match for anyone.
Who did K-Fed marry? Da-da-da, Gemini comes to save the day again. Victoria Prince. They've been married since 2013.
Oh.
So he's had, like, a successful, as far as we know, over 10-year relationship with this woman who seems very stable. He's given the kids a nice home.
Yeah.
But still, it bugs me that he's coming out with this memoir.
Well, that's because everyone hated him at the time.
Yeah.
Like, everyone. He was, I don't know what to compare him to nowadays, which is why I'm like, oh, this guy's kind of cool as a joke. It was like, I used to be his fan.
Side with the underdog.
Yeah, side with the underdog.
Well, here's the blurb. Kevin Federline, dancer, father, accidental pop culture icon. His star rose electrifying stages alongside Pink, Destiny's Child, Aaliyah, and more. But it was his turbulent marriage to pop superstar Britney Spears that made him a household name. Question mark, and triggered a relentless media storm, reducing him to a caricature in a world that barely knew him. Behind the tabloid headlines was a devoted father fighting for his children and his sanity, navigating the fallout of fame and a fractured family as everything around him spun out of control. From the heights of global stardom to the pain of public ridicule, this memoir peels back the layers of celebrity, fatherhood, and survival to reveal the man behind the mythology, a man shaped not by spectacle or spotlight, but by love, resilience, and the steadfast resolve to give his kids a normal life. What you thought you knew was only half the story. Entitled Thought Ya Knew.
Oh, yeah.
It's the name of the book. Thought Y-A Knew.
Yeah.
The 47-year-old Federline, who along with Irish twins Sean Preston and Jaden James, by way of Britney, is also dad to... Oh, yes! He had kids before Britney with this actress called Shar Jackson from Moesha. Do you remember that?
I do remember Moesha because we lived near Detroit.
So he's got Corey, 21, Caleb, 19. He left Caleb, Shar Jackson, pregnant. It was a real Tristan Thompson situation, if I remember. Shar Jackson was pregnant with this 19-year-old when he got with Britney, and that further made him a white trash deadbeat at the time. And then he's also got Jordan, who's 12, and Peyton, who's 9, with his current wife, Victoria Prince. Continued in the press release. He said, I achieved my biggest dreams, dealt with crushing heartbreak, and endured constant ridicule, all while becoming the father my children needed as they experienced nonstop emotional turbulence. For those out there who cannot wait for the Sunday Times, one review is already coming in piping hot, and that is Bobby told us about it first.
What?
Britney's most recent ex and Traders alum, Sam Asghari, who said of Federline, he was a professional father, so it would be the first book that would tell you how to be a professional father.
You have to see the clip.
I can't tell if it's a slam. It's like
was
kind of the dumbest sentence I've ever
think
heard.
maybe back in the day, K-Fed would have made like that type of... Anyway, he's throwing it back. That's my interpretation.
So he's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 kids.
Yes.
He left his pregnant fiance, Shar Jackson, who had real vocal opinions about that whole situation
That's
at the
a
time.
tough look. Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
I forgot about
I wouldn't
that.
have been on his side as much had I known that. Yeah, that's bad.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
But you can see how a dancer kind of going through the motions of showbiz, possibly down on his luck, possibly getting a bit of heat from his fiance. He gets an opportunity to be with Britney Spears. I think a lot of people get swept up in that.
What era, like, was she still...
Well, it would have been 19 years ago. She was starting to misbehave, but she was still Britney, bitch.
It was like, was it after like the meltdowns? Like,
No,
like the shaving head
and
stuff.
yeah, this is why people turned against Kevin Federline, because Britney seemed to still have quite a good handle on her mental health, and then actually, and we don't talk about it enough, I think pregnancy and postpartum depression, especially having 2 babies back to back, she had them like within a year,
And meth as well.
and whatever alleged, yeah,
Meth and postpartum is probably not a good mix. Alleged.
yeah. So there you go. Are you gonna read the book?
Nope, I won't read the book, but I look forward to some clips. Maybe, it's interesting. K-Fed this week, JT last week. Who's it going to be next week?
BK.
We all look the same.
You've all got hats.
We all got shaved heads at one point and hats and beards.
Do you know what would be really cool, I think?
Except they dance. I don't dance.
You dance.
Justin Timberlake used to dance.
You're going to dance at Joanne's wedding.
Nope.
What are you looking forward to the most about Joanne's wedding?
Oh, Joanne's wedding. I look forward to the most. There's so much to look forward to. Just your agony and distress. And then I'm going to try and uplift you with some moving words about your true feelings about certain things. And there's just a lot of things to be, appreciated about this upcoming event.
I can't even drink.
Families colliding. Yeah, it's going to be a lovely day. I can just kick back and relax and watch everything.
The summer's almost over and we've got a really spicy ending to it.
Yes. We had a good summer.
All right.
Well, I'm going to make like K-Fed and leave your pregnant ass.
Okay, good luck. I hope you meet Dua Lipa at Costco tonight.
That'd be nice.
All right, I love you.
Love ya.
See you soon. Thank you for listening to another episode of Telling Everybody Everything. We didn't get to any dilemmas today. Come and deliver your problem at my special taping, August 29th in East London. If you already have a ticket, you probably will have received an email. If you didn't receive an email, send it to the podcast, send it to my socials. Be a part of my special. I would love to include you as long as you sign the release and you don't regret anything you said and you don't sue me later. Real Housewives of London has launched. The first episode was released on Hey You, August 18th, and people are going bananas for it. My dear friend Scarlett Curtis has an after show, has a podcast about the Real Housewives. It is one of the best Housewives franchises that you will ever see. We waited for a decade. Where's London? Where's London? Here it is, and it's absolutely worth it. And I've cheated. I've seen a little bit forward, and it keeps giving. It's got people in a chokehold. So if you don't have Hey You, 1,000 reasons to have Hey You. And if you haven't seen Real Housewives of London, get it on right now. Get in early. Be part of the podcast. Be part of the dialogue, and I will see you at the reunion. What else am I going to tell you about? Nothing, really. Nothing. Just please look after each other. I'll see you soon. Bye.